Apple, Nike, Airbnb, and Zappos, some of the finest brands, some of the finest companies in the world, how do they actually reach more customers and activate existing customers while reducing down their cost? Well, they use this one framework, which is what I am going to dissect for you in this video. Let's get started. I call this the SEVA framework. This is literally the most powerful framework that will help you reach more new customers. It will help you activate existing customers and at a much lesser cost. You want this to happen? I know this sounds like magic. Well, this magic will become a lot more real for you when you watch this video right till the very end. The SEVA framework, it helps you reach more new customers and activate existing customers. I'm going to repeat this for you till the time you start really believing this. SEVA stands for story, engagement, video, and action. Now, let's try and understand how does SEVA framework increase your reach, how does it reduce your cost of customer acquisition, and how does it increase sales for you. Some of the top brands use this like now. Stories. Think of your business not like a brick and mortar store. Think of your business not like a team of operations doing something. Think of your business not just to make profits, but think of your business, imagine your business, visualize your business like millions of stories happening every day, every second, every minute, every hour. Just imagine you just were on phone with a customer and the customer gave you great feedback. Well, that's a story. Imagine you just launched a new product. Well, that's a story. Imagine you just entered into a meeting with your CEO and the CEO said, you know what? The last product that we guys did has had huge success. Well, that's a great story. Just imagine that you're just trying to create a whole new solution for your customers. And you are going through these doubtful days, tough days. Well, that is also a story. I'm not saying stories are always the happy-go-lucky, great story kinds. No, the stories of doubt, the stories of those tough days are also real stories. Well, you know what you got to do? You got to tell some of the greatest stories about your business to the world. The key here is not to try and create new stories. The key here is to document your journey and just openly share it with the world. Let me repeat that again. Document your journey every day and just openly share it with the world. This is the real magic. This is the SEVA framework in one word. Document your journey every day and just openly share it with the world. I will tell you how I did this the last year and literally created close to $100,000 revenue business with just one-person team and the SEVA framework. I'll tell you more about it a little later. Think about stories. Think about documentation like a conversation. Think about a podcast, maybe, right? Well, you could do this. It doesn't cost you a bomb. Steve Jobs at Apple was one of the greatest storytellers in the world ever. I am sure before Steve Jobs, you never knew what that little pocket in your denim is all about. He told you that you could store 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that's how he launched the iPod Nano, didn't he? That's called documenting the journey. Now imagine what if Apple would have taken you in that whole process of creating the iPod Nano. That's documenting a journey. When you document a journey, customers start attaching with you. The early adopters, the real customers, the believers, they start attaching with you and it starts forming into a community. It's magic. And the moment you have a community of people around you, oh man, your costs go down massively. That's the magic of the SEVA framework. Nike, every time an athlete runs with Nike shoes on, well, you are part of the Nike story. If you haven't watched Nike Air, I'm going to talk about it a little later in this video on Netflix. You definitely must. They have documented it for you, the entire, the Nike, the brand. It's just fascinating. It's just phenomenal. Imagine I'm not even being paid by Nike and I'm with so much passion talking about it. Isn't this the proof that documentation really attaches people with you? It creates the right set of impulse for people to buy from you. This is Airbnb. Airbnb tells you some of the finest stories of their hosts. They don't tell you how cool looking their Airbnb is. but they tell you the stories of their hosts and you connect with those stories. You imagine if I were to be staying at this place with this host, how cool would it be? I learn new things. We'll connect more dots. That's the key. When you document your journey for your customers, they start connecting more dots. There are heart-to-heart conversations that start happening automatically. In your mind, in your heart. This is Tony Hsieh. He's no more in the world. Well, that's a sad loss for all of us. But this book called Delivering Happiness, you must definitely read it. In one of the sections of this book, and I read it several years back, I still remember, Tony Hsieh had built this culture at Zappos, wherein even when non-customers used to just call up Zappos helpline and ask, you know what, I'm super hungry, it's the night time and I would really want a pizza, for myself. Where can I go and fetch or find food? Here in this locality, I'm new. The Zappos guys will not just bang the phone down at you, they would really genuinely help you. And they would be on call with you for an hour long, 2 hours long, and so on and so forth. These are magical stories. These are just magical stories. Imagine a book that I had read like years back. I'm repeating that without even reading the book. Because these stories, they literally went deep down in my heart. I connected dots with them. And I'm talking about them even today. This is the power of taking your customer along with you in a journey, on a journey. You document the journey with your customer, make the customer part of the journey. But most of you don't do this. You sell at the customer, and that's where you fail. Step number 2 is engage. Engage your customers online and offline. Now, check the first picture that you're looking at on top. It's a picture of an event that I did at Ahmedabad Management Association in India, in Bharat. We didn't have enough seats because earlier we thought that only about 80 odd people would sort of turn up for the event. Over about 150 or about 200 people actually turned up for the event. Look at people, sitting down on the floor. They killed their egos. They literally just sat down on the floor because I took them on a journey of documentation of how PayU-Money. So I was consulting PayU-Money back then. How PayU-Money is building one of the greatest payment gateways for people like these, for web designers, for web creators, for freelancers, for everybody out there. And that is why they wanted to hear that journey. They were so fascinated with it. Imagine they sat on the floor for 2.5 hours just to listen to me. That's the power of documenting your journey with your customers. It goes long, it goes far and wide. And then the All-In podcast. Chamath and the entire team, I'm sure a lot of you would already be following the All-In podcast. It's a phenomenal journey of documentation. Every day they document. They're just documenting. In their conversations, they're doing nothing. They're just documenting. They're putting out their thoughts. They're just documenting. Well, that's also a way to document, by the way. And that's what I said, that documenting doesn't cost you a bomb. It doesn't cost you millions of dollars. Documenting only literally costs you your heart, your intent, your pure love for your customers. That's when your game changes once and for all. Step number 3, V for video. Don't just sell at your customers. You are leveraging influencers completely the wrong way. Teach your customers, empower your customers to make the right choices, the right decisions. Look at this first screenshot. This is a meeting that I did with students in schools and colleges in India, in Bharat. I actually mentored them, coached them in this entire meeting, and then they became part of a program that I ran for them for a little while. They were so fascinated with it because I took them through that journey of documentation. And then, of course, I hosted the Sabir Bhatia in New Delhi at an event at IIT Delhi. Well, this is also part of documentation of my journey. In that moment, my journey with Sabir Bhatia. Now imagine, once we documented this on video, we let it out there in the world. We made it open for everybody to watch. Because I truly believe there's no point restricting anyone on everyone. You never know who would connect the dots with you. You never know who would become your customer. But you guys are doing it the wrong way. You are restricting yourself. You're trying to be just too clinical about reaching your customers. Your customers are out there. They just want to be part of your story. The last part is A for action. First, I'll say something in Hindi and then I'll repeat it in English. It says, "Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai," which means what is visible sells. I think this is completely wrong. In the world of social media, jo zyada dikhta hai, wo bikta hai, which means what is a lot more visible sells more. You know why? You don't have to spend millions of dollars to become a lot more visible. You just have to keep documenting daily. That's it. And for free, literally for free. It's zero CAC, which is what I promised you. The more you would document, the more people will connect their dots with you. So instead of you putting in, $1 million behind a certain video and trying to forcefully make people connect dots with you, once you start documenting your journey, your story, the good, the bad, everything, the doubt-filled days, the tough days, the ending days, the never-ending days, everything, your customers will start falling in love with you. That will be magical. And that is exactly what is the Seva framework. I told you about this movie called Air on Netflix. You must definitely watch it if you haven't watched it yet. And the screenshot at the bottom is how I take action, how I engage with people, my audience, my customers, how I document my story for the world via events, online, offline, everywhere. That's the way I'm taking action. Now, let me tell you, how did I use Seva the last year in my business to create a fairly decent sizable revenue with just one-person team. In 2023, I started with exact zero. I launched my online courses. Let me come to results first. We created a business that did about $75,000 in revenue. And this is purely profitable revenue because we barely invested about $2,000 doing all of this. Imagine this, a team of one video editor who was a freelancer with me. We generated over 6.4 lakh hours of videos watched on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. And all of this 100% organically. No money spent, zero marketing dollars spent, absolutely zero. All of this happened because I started documenting my journey via my live content, via my videos, via my conversations, via my podcasts, via my events, everything. I started just documenting myself. I also trained 20,000 plus micro entrepreneurs and students across the country. I also co-curated and hosted a prime time TV show that was hosted on the national television of the country, DD Network, called Startup Champions 2.0. Well, all of this happened because I was consistently documenting my journey, and everybody became part of my journey. I documented my journey every day. This made people feel that I am somebody real. This made people connect with me. So instead of 100 dots getting connected with me, 1,000,000 dots got connected with me. And that's why people started buying my courses. That's why people started believing in Paritosh. Their belief system got created like the Paritosh's belief system. And that is what could happen for you as well. So I did Seva. It is your time to do Seva in your business, to implement the Seva framework in your business. Now, how will you implement this in your company? Let's talk about that. Step number one, I personally and my team at the Seva framework, we will help you document your journey in videos. Many videos, all kinds of videos. And by the way, we are not going to act like an advertising firm or a brand agency telling you to create the fanciest of content, the greatest looking content. No. We will be raw. We will be real. We will be honest. We will be authentic. We will tell the world all the mistakes that we're doing, where we are failing, where we are winning, everything because of the customer. The customers will just become part of our journey. Your journey. We will help you do this. Step number two, your team will then publish these stories to the world at large and let the world come in, connect the dots with your business. This will also help you reactivate or activate your existing customer base and reach out to a lot more many customers, which even your performance marketing super targeted campaigns are probably not able to reach out to, where you're burning millions of dollars every month. Well, I'm not going to charge you $1 million for sure. I don't think that's the right thing. I think instead of that, you should be investing that money in creating great and the greatest experiences for your customers. Probably lower down the price point for your customers. Give some financial advantage to your customers. Here's how we will work with you. Step number three, we will keep repeating this process of the Seva framework with you in your company till the time we establish a very clear formula, a success formula. What videos, what content, what engagement, what action, the entire Seva bit, right? So what stories, what engagement, what videos and what action ultimately leads to more activation and more reach. Till the time we establish this formula, we will keep working with you. And after that, if you still want us to work with you, we will keep working with you. Let's have a lifelong relationship. Why not? The Seva program is designed in 2 parts. The ideal is at least 12 months of an engagement such that we can establish this process really well. And well, if you're somebody that doubts themselves, and if you think that, well, I'm not too sure, will this work, will this not, all of those doubts, well, if you're somebody like that, if you're tuned like that, I can't help it. But you could also begin with a trial of at least 6 months. Now, what will it cost you? What's the investment that you're going to make? Definitely not $1 million. Definitely not the lakhs of rupees or the massive budget that you're putting in your performance marketing and so on and so forth. Trust me, no. We will charge you, if you're in India, anywhere from 50,000 rupees to about 5 lakh rupees every month. Depends upon the quantum of work that we do with you. If you're outside of India, anywhere from $1,000 to about $7,000 or more, depends upon the quantum of work that we end up doing together to establish that one process, that one principle, that one formula that makes the Seva framework super successful in your company. If this inspires you, if you loved being at least a small little part of my journey of creating a business that did $75,000 in revenue with just one team member, 0 paid marketing, well, if all of this really inspired you, WhatsApp me on my number. Let's get started. Let's get talking. And let's be part of each other's journey and get millions of people out there to become part of our journey as well. This is just the way sales really should happen. Sales must happen, and sales will happen for you. I will now see you as part of the Seva program that I personally will implement in your business. Be super successful. That's what I want for you. Be super healthy. That's what I want for you and your employees and all your customers and all your family. And shape the future. Here's to the crazy ones. Once and forever. Take care.